Yeah, it was a brief, I think it was one winter, it might have been a winter and a half that I spent up there with the first graduate student working on mountain caribou there, Dave Freddy. And so I decided I'm just going to spend the winter, and helping this grad student in North Idaho, find these elusive mountain caribou to see if there's anything left in Idaho. But anyway, we did encounter caribou. I think it was on Trapper Peak or in that area. We had snowshoed up on the top in the winter time. I remember that first camp that we had pitched a tent on the snow. There must have been 6 feet of snow, and I cut a bunch of green logs to build a fire on, and on top of the snow. And I don't remember where I learned that trick, but I probably picked it up from some trapper lore long ago. And so I remember waking up in the middle of, well, in the morning, I guess it was, and our campfire had burned down through the green logs or was sitting down there about 6 feet below the surface of the snow. So I think it was that trip that we donned our snowshoes and decided to hike up Trapper Peak. And all of a sudden we encountered these huge tracks. And the only thing they could be, and they were floating on top of the snow, they had to be in caribou. And so we started following them. And sure enough, I think it was a bull and a cow. And I think that might have been some of the last encounters of mountain caribou in North Idaho. And I don't remember if Dave got photographs of them or not, but I do remember getting pictures of their footprints in the snow. I mean, large as a page in a notebook. It was impressive. But that was my experience with, and that was fun. It was a little piece of wilderness in the middle of northern Idaho. We also got into the Sullivan Lake drainage looking for caribou tracks in there, and wintertime, and didn't encounter anything there either. But anyway, so I got to see caribou in Idaho.
How do you see that experience now, today, knowing that they would become extirpated in a quarter century, basically, since that encounter occurred?
I guess I'm not surprised that they've become extirpated in the U.S. in the last, quarter century, like you say, because they were just hanging on by by their lichen. And there were large fires there. There was a lot of changes to the landscape, a lot of logging going on at that time. And there was a lot of unknowns about how to keep caribou sustained in this changing environment. And another, kind of boreal species that I worked with in Washington State is the Canada lynx. And that's another tale that kind of boreal species are affected by, and particularly now with climate, what's happening with our climate, pushing back that boreal zone and pushing it back to the edge of the Arctic. And so I think it's a tale that tells us that we have a profound effect on this planet. Even places that we cannot quite reach physically, with our presence, we can reach it with our impacts. And we have a profound influence on the planet.